Hello, guten Tag und grüß Gott. Today is Sunday, April the 2nd, 2023. And I'm lucky today because I have my wonderful wife, Marge, right here with me. She just had a birthday, and it was one of those zero type of birthdays. So it was really quite a thing. So we celebrated her birthday yesterday, mostly, and it'll continue throughout the weekend, of course. So well. So as the Newswit, I want to briefly talk about what's happening in history, or it will be in history to you, but what's happening in our news today. And one of the things is that probably the biggest item right now is that the past President Donald Trump, is just was indicted for something.
Who knows? It's not been released.
Actually, the indictment has not been released, but it's okay. A bunch of Democrats in New York, Democratic district attorney decided to indict Trump. So that means he has to actually show up, because this is how our legal system works. He has to show up. He's going to get fingerprinted and all this kind of stuff. What's interesting about it is that we're doing this to a president, which actually hasn't been done before, because it's actually a criminal indictment. So who knows what they have in mind? But it's something has to do with, evidently, with hush money that was paid to a porn star by the name of Stormy Daniels. And it was paid by one of Trump's lawyers, who was confident at the time, but in the meantime, he's distanced himself from Trump. And it's a little bit messy, because people in high places have friends, and suddenly the friends become enemies. But anyway, he's going to be fingerprinted and so forth, and that's kind of a security issue. Coming to New York, he's going to stay in Trump Tower, and then his security detail is going to make sure that he's okay and can't be assassinated, at the courthouse. And it's a big mess. And I just want to mention this, is hush money is paid all the time. And I'm not so sure that should be called hush money, because it's basically, you're avoiding some sort of a trial, or you're avoiding a lawsuit, and you make a settlement, right?
For non-disclosure.
For non-disclosure. And so whatever happened between these two people, they decided that, for a certain amount of money, and I think it was some $100,000, I will not sue you, and then, and I will not talk about it. And somehow we talked about it. So is there campaign financing involved? We don't know. We don't think so. So it does sound like what Trump is actually saying, is some sort of a witch hunt, but we don't know, because the indictment has been sealed, and we won't know until it's unsealed. And then we probably won't even know the facts. We'll just know the indictment, right? So anyway, so there is that. Another thing that happened, I think just last week, is the Russians arrested a Wall Street Journal reporter as he was going to the Caucasus and having a steak dinner. Now, this is a reporter that has been vetted by the Russian security service, and now he's accused of spying, for the evil West. I didn't say that quite right, didn't I? The V's and W's, because of my German heritage, are still giving me a lot of trouble. And of course, another thing that's still going on is the, everybody's nervous about the banks. So Silicon Valley Bank was, of course, basically bailed out and being taken over by some other bank. And but now we're worried about, the rush on the banks. That's kind of a bad thing. So the bank regulators, they're saying, well, it's the management's fault, okay? And the management, and of course, the politicians are saying, well, no, it's the regulators' fault, because they've been looking at all of this. and they've been pushing the banks into safe investments, and I've talked about that before, so I won't regale you with all of that. Just one more little thing I found in the Wall Street Journal, and that is something, San Francisco fights disorder. Okay. Now, I have to tell you, and people currently listening will know that our cities are now cesspools of crime. And the homeless are erecting tents everywhere. They're blocking the sidewalks. You can't walk anywhere. And pooping in doorways. And they're doing all this stuff. And the worst of all seems to be in San Francisco. That's been run by Democrats now for, a few decades. And they just let this crap happening. But every new mayor gets said, oh, I'm going to solve the problem with homelessness. Nobody does it. Okay. So, so there are this couple, that has been putting out a free library, and they called it Little Free Library. And so they've got carpenters, to make a little bit of a cabinet. They even make it. They live in a Victorian house in San Francisco, and so they made it kind of look like Victorian, but it's kind of on the sidewalk and stuff. So San Francisco has this complaint line called 311. So you can complain about something. So evidently, the city fathers got a complaint, that there is this free book library out there, where you can come, leave a book, read a book. And they also put a bench out there, and they had to remove the bench there for a while, but then they put it back because, the guys the homeless were using it for shooting up drugs. And of course, all this time, know that the sidewalks are clogged with homelessness, okay? But the city fathers, said, hey, you guys, you don't have a permit, for encroaching on public property like a sidewalk. And so they wanted to charge them $1,400 and some dollars for a permit. But, and the people, they probably have the money to pay it, but they decided not to pay it because of the principle of it, okay? So they said no. And then they got the neighbors that came together and said, wait a minute, this has been a good thing for them. And there should be others more around. Anyway, the upshot of it is, is that San Francisco can, they're enforcing a free library, which is kind of a positive thing. But they decide not to enforce, all the encroachment that the homeless are doing. I mean, Jesus. Now, I can't say that I'm pro-homelessness, but there really is a solution for homelessness. We just don't have the will to solve it, in any case. And I've talked about that also. What can be the solution? Shall we eat them? No, we're not going to eat the homeless, Of course, they'd like to eat the rich. Anyway. So much, for today's politics. Is there anything else, that we should be talking about? My honey, Marge, who just had a big 0 birthday.
You can say it.
Okay. So my wife, Marge, the youngster in his family, just turned 70. And I can call her a youngster because, I'm 84, right? So, compared to me, she's a youngster.
You're 83 for a few more months.
Oh, that's right. In July, I'm going to be 84. So, but it's the year of 84, basically. But in any case, so we celebrated her 70th birthday. And so it started. Can I talk about it a little bit? Okay, so what we did is we took her to her favorite store, which is, about 50 miles away from us. And our favorite store, which she has never been to because it's her favorite company, is called Tecovas. And she buys boots from them. And so we went there because she wanted to go it was almost like going to the mothership of, because before that, then her relationship with Tecovas was only over the internet.
Right.
And, but she had bought boots from them before, loved them. And so she was really looking forward to it. So part of her birthday present was an amount of money that she had to spend there. So she went through a whirlwind and got a new bag, got new boots and all this kind of stuff. So from then on, what else did we do? Well, we had dinner at a place called La Cave in Newport Beach. Oh, So they built this underground restaurant. It's all underground. You take an elevator down, you know. Anyway, it was loud, noisy, and bustling, you know, and it's a good thing we had reservations, because if people tried to get in there, and it was kind of a bad deal, they couldn't get in, and then they were a little, you know, these guys were kind of a little bit hostile, you know, about, you know, enjoy your dinner and stuff like this. There were offhand comments made. Anyway, we had a wonderful dinner there, because they really do know how to do steak, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, you know, we had the flowers, we had the birthday cake, and then we had a card, and it was a large card, wasn't it? It was an oversized
Beautiful
card.
bouquet of
Yeah.
flowers.
So there's probably the core of this particular presentation will be something that just recently emerged, because somewhere. So I'm gonna let Marge, my wife, talk about a certain kind of gift that she got from the boys.
I got wonderful gifts from the boys. I got a new bracelet that goes with my chain link necklace so that it can attach to the necklace and make it longer, and it's a perfect length now.
It looks great. I wanted to turn the camera onto her, but she
No.
said ixnay to that. But it's a paperclip bracelet and necklace. Can be both, because, you know, they hook together. So that's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
it's really cool. And then Patrick gave me a silver Irish coin and a beautiful card with a pop-up monstera, which is my favorite plant. And I got this letter from the boys. And as I read it yesterday, it caused me to choke up and ultimately dissolve into tears. So let me read it to you.
Okay.
Dear Bunny Mom, April 1st, 2023. On this special day, as we celebrate your 70th birthday, we want to take a moment to express our deepest love and appreciation for all that you do. You have been the anchor that has kept our family together, and we cannot thank you enough for the unconditional love and support you've given us over the last 34 years. Whit, your husband, wants to let you know how much he cherishes the moments he has spent with you. You have been his partner in life, his confidant, and his best friend. He admires your strength, your kindness, and your unwavering love for our family. He is grateful for every moment that he has spent with you and is looking forward to spending many more years together. Patrick, your son, wants to let you know how much he loves and appreciates you. You have been his rock and guide, always there to offer words of wisdom and encouragement. He is grateful for your patience and kindness and unwavering support throughout his life. He is blessed to have you as his mother, and he hopes to make you proud every day. On this special day, we celebrate you and all that you have achieved. We wish you good health, happiness, and continued success in all your endeavors. May your heart be filled with love, and may your life be filled with joy. Happy 70th birthday with love and admiration, Whit and Patrick and ChatGPT. This was written by a computer program and not my husband and son.
So
The tears dried up.
the tears dried up. So I told Marge, I said, you know, don't forget that I was the one that put in the essential information in order for Chat GPT to produce this moving document. And I have to say that I was moved by it. Patrick, when he read it, was moved by it. And because I feel that this particular situation with the AI uh, needed to be memorialized in some fashion. And so consequently, we're making this video, and Marge consented to read what this artificial intelligence produced. And when I read it, I'm tearing up right now, actually, because I read it and I said, I couldn't have done any better, I don't think. The only thing I substituted in there was the names I like to call her, Bunny, that was it. There's nothing else went in there, from, once it produced that. So anyway, something remarkable is happening in our society right now, and I see it as something bigger perhaps than the internet itself. We're heading, gangbusters toward artificial intelligence as being nearly conscious or sentient. And as a matter of fact, I just read where ChatGPT 4 supposedly passed the Turing test, which is a huge deal. So there is this guy by the name of Altman and Elon Musk that back in 2018 or so decided to create this Chat GPT. Or actually, they started this company called OpenAI, and they since hired people to produce an AI where you can sign up for it. Of course, they don't let everybody sign up to it. You have to be a creator of some sort, and they vet you, because we have a company, and through that company, which has an internet presence, we were able to make use of the AI, and I've made use of it several times, didn't I?
Yeah.
So anyway, OpenAI and ChatGPT, you're going to hear a lot about, because I think this is, as big as sliced bread, if not bigger.
Well, now Steve Wozniak and Elon have come together to oppose ChatGPT.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I just recently read an article. I mean, this is could be a little scary, so I'm not sure how we're going to deal with this, but it's certainly fantastic. But ChatGPT 4, the version 4, started to hallucinate, according to the article. And hallucinating meaning is that ChatGPT started to answer questions and provide information that it had just made up. It's not information that it extracted anywhere else, and that's what they call a hallucination. And it also had some anger issues, so there were threats issued to the people that were using it. They were threatened. So it it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Anyway, Altman understands things that are well beyond the scope of this video, and certainly beyond my understanding. But he said something interesting. Is that he understands that AI is going to basically take a lot of jobs, in the future. And what are we going to do? So he thinks, that the jobs that are going to be taken by AI in some form, robotics and so on, the people that are being displaced, should be on some sort of universal basic income, at least for the time being. But you know what the time being is when you start to handing people free stuff, that just doesn't go away. Look at our welfare system right now. There are now generations of people that are basically living on universal basic income, the welfare system, and they have a way of doing it. First of all, you've got to be a single mother. You got to have kids because they're, you know, um, you got to be poor. You got to live in the projects or something of that nature, and then you can have basic income, in other words, and the boyfriend or the husband can't be there, because if he shows up and it becomes a family, all the money goes away, you know. So what is this doing? Well, it's producing a lot of voters, for the Democrats because they're supporting that kind of stuff. That's what it's doing, and it's basically disabling people.
Keeping
So,
families apart.
and it's keeping families apart, and no wonder, these kids are growing up in gangs and stuff because they need a family, they need to have a connection. They don't get it at home, the dad is somebody that maybe showing up, maybe not, they're not sure whether it's even their dad. Anyway, so ChatGPT is like Thunderbird. It's the word. Anyway, I bid you farewell for now. And, you know, it's always a pleasure to do these things. And I don't know why exactly why, but I thank you, Marge, for my wonderful wife, for partaking in this. And I bid you so long, auf Wiedersehen. And we must infect the universe with us.